God will break you. So we started the church. First year went by, it was really tough. Second year, I had to let some staff go. The church had gotten to several hundred people, and it was essentially only us. We had Brian Bruss was part-time. We had a bookkeeper part-time, and we were hurting. The church had outgrown our capacity to handle it. I had a good friend, and I've told a version of this story before, but I've never told it the way I'm going to tell it today. Before starting Life Church, we were at First United Methodist Church. Nick was my pastor, and then he had a right-hand person. And I've told this story before, and I've never said his name, and I don't know why. I think it's because somehow I just wanted to protect him. And today I want to honor him and say his name for the first time publicly, and it happened 18 years ago. What I'm going to tell you about, his name was Jay. And Jay and his wife were our best friends. You've all had someone like that. I hope that when you do something together, they're the couple that we wanted to do stuff with. And Jay made a mistake, a significant mistake, when he was at First Methodist. And so he had to go to another city to bring some healing. Well, we started Life Church, and Jay and his wife said, we'd like to come and help you build the church. And we said, we would love for you to. And he said, can I be on staff? And I said, well, I would love for you to one day, but I want to see you in my context for a year to see how you're healing after what had happened. And so that seemed reasonable and fair. So I don't know what it was, 6 or 9 months went by and things were going well. And then I found out about something that wasn't quite right. And so I confronted Jay about that. And when I did, I was young, he was relatively young. He didn't like the way I confronted him. I didn't like his response. And we went, boom! And we got into a big argument. And he left, and a week went by and we hadn't spoken. And another week went by and we hadn't spoken. And I was teaching at a church called Council Road Baptist Church on a Tuesday night Bible study for young adults. And I remember the name of the message. I was teaching a message called Loving Those You Don't Like. And in the middle of the message, I'm teaching, and I just was kind of hit. I just stopped and said, I just told everybody, because that's kind of what I do sometimes, for better or for worse, you know. And I just said, I just recognize that there's someone very dear to me, and we haven't spoken over something. And so when I get home tonight, I'm going to call him. This was before cell phones and such. And so Amy and I drove home, and I was like, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. I got home, and we had answer machines back then. If you don't know what that is, just Google it, you know. And so I pressed the answer machine, and it was Jay's wife crying, and she said, I just found him, and he had taken his own life. Okay. That was a Tuesday, and his family moved in with us. I think it was a Friday that I did the funeral, and I knew something that I just more than what I would have shared at the funeral, and I carried the weight and the guilt of what if I had done something different. And that Sunday, I stood up before the little crowd of people, because that's all it was at that point, it was just a little crowd of people, and I broke down and I cried like crazy. I just cried like crazy. Because when you're broken, you don't care what anybody thinks. And I just let it all come out and said, I was overwhelmed before this. I can't continue. I need your support. I'm doing what I can do, and I can't do this. And we're all broken right now. We're all grieving because everyone knew him. And I just said, something needs to change. I need you. And a little group of people, they all came up. I didn't even preach, couldn't finish the sermon, and the whole little group of people prayed. And on that day, the crowd became a church. We became a church. Something was different. We were broken together. I've said this before. We impress people with our strengths, but we connect through our weaknesses. I'll say it this way this time. We may impress people with our strengths, but we connect most deeply through our brokenness. Isn't that true?